Money is cool.
Aren't you ashamed? We got whores in the city. We need backup now. Don't be so dang literal.
Well, you've got one heck of a nerve.
Oh my God! The government is here! Run!
Hey, barkeep, whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Ich bin ein Springfielder.
Shut the hell up. I've got the strangest feeling someone's gonna kick his ass.
Hello, peasants.
Want to kill all humans?
Work there, dude. We'd like some money.
Yeah, money.
Money is cool.
Aren't you ashamed? We got whores in the city. We need backup now. Don't be so dang literal.
All right, what's up? It's totally Toonular. Yeah, we're like, if you're, we're gonna be live streaming this, but we are definitely not live. As you can see, the glowingness on the side of Ben's face from the sunlight.
It's
Now, we are
bright
on,
and beautiful in Tennessee right now.
We're also, yeah, so I'm here also at Derek's house. You can see his little puppies, and Derek's here on the show. So I'm gonna pray this Wi-Fi still keeps working. So hopefully that's also a thing. But hey, man, it's been a week. That's all I can start off saying. I do want to start off talking about last week's episode first, because that's kind of the start of everything.
You mean the one that should never have seen air but had to because we needed to put out content?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? We had Steeler the week before, so we go from, when you get that high, it's okay to, get down that low again. We can only, what I'm
It's an ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the deal, right? Like, what do they call it? It's like we have these high water marks, right? And then, as Derek just said, the ebb and the flow, the tide has to pull back at some point, right? the water crest. We have this wonderful discussion with Dwayne, a masterclass in the Looney Tunes, and then we have this beautiful movie that we have teed up. An amazing feat of animation, of storytelling in general. It's exceptional to look at, and we did it absolutely the biggest disservice we possibly could.
We were not nice at all in that episode. But yeah, so that's why hopefully this one will be better, because I was like, shit, I got to figure this out. But hey, look at us. We're here. Still have content. And yeah, who knows? Maybe I don't think there's probably gonna be one day where that episode may not exist.
Well, I mean, listen, or we throw it behind a paywall. That's I think that might be the bigger and better bet for when stuff like that happens. I think that's what we ultimately end up doing. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it actually got me thinking because I've been sick the last week. You can still hear the remnants of it hanging out in my voice. But I've been thinking a lot about that, and it was like, wow, sometimes things have to break in order to realign and to get things back to where they are. So as this week's sort of progressed, a thing that we teased earlier on, I'm actually prepping for Valentine's Day. So for Valentine's Day, one of the things I have planned, and James, this will be new to you, is when I'm actually going to be posting sort of our very first This Day in Cartoon History. It's a thing that I can prep for and plan for. And I figure as a little holiday booster, it's a thing I can get together. And what better way to showcase our channel's love for cartoons than on a day meant to sell cards and chocolates in the name of love.
Love, yeah.
Yeah. Than to actually pop out a little something extra. So that is what I will be working on over the rest of this week and into early next as we prep for that. So
For that Valentine's Day. Oh,
yes. Success.
So we did that episode, and that was a party. I mean, we had the Big Dan's food. You gave me the king cake. I got the baby in the first bite.
You got the baby.
First bite, like them itty bitty babies into king cake. Exactly. Which you left here. I have here waiting for you upon your next arrival.
Well, yeah. So then that was the beginning of the party. I mean, we literally have not stopped drinking since that day, till yesterday.
And only because you had to drive home, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is the only reason. We still had tequila left on Monday.
Oh, really? Wow.
We drank it all.
Yeah, we finished all the
We
tequila
had
on
to.
Monday.
Amazing. Well, I mean, Monday, James, also happy birthday, right?
Yeah,
was that
that
was yesterday?
No, it was Monday.
It was Monday. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, and that day was we'll get to Monday because that was the calm day, to be honest. that was the day we just tried to, like, I don't know, not drink. But so we get there the first day, man. We take our time to get there. We stop at Buc-ee's on the way, which was awesome. You gotta love Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's is dope.
Did you hit up the
best friends?
Yeah, I was gonna say you obviously took shits there, right?
Oh, their stalls are beautiful.
I only took a piss there.
I only took a piss there too, but their stalls are beautiful. They're nice and closed in.
And well, I did get their, like, roasted nuts, which were also amazing. I didn't get any of the jerky, but Buc-ee's is cool.
Yeah.
So far, this is panning out to be an amazing adventure. Like, you come here, we get wasted, we do a horrible episode, and then the next highlight is a gas station.
Well, hey, Buc-ee's is amazing. If it's gonna be any gas station, it's Buc-ee's. But then, finally we get moving. I'll take a sip of this drink. We get moving. We finally get through our place at like 6. My friend from Long Island's there, and we're like, all right, now we're all here. Let's go walk somewhere. And I was Googling I don't know. So I don't know much about, like, how the French Quarter part works. We ended up being closer than I thought the first night. Like, I kind of walked in a weird direction to get there. But we found this one bar. Cosmos. That was the first bar we found.
Cosmos.
Yeah, it was recommended to us by my Airbnb, and I don't know, it was kind of a local dive bar-y kind of place, but cheap beer. It was like $3, $4.
It's like $4 a beer.
And yeah, and then that's where we met Kenny.
Kenny was from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Very nice. Did Kenny continue to party with you guys throughout the remainder of the week?
Yeah.
Yeah, he took us to Lafitte's later that night because he lived across the street.
Jean Lafitte's Feet Street.
No, Lafitte's blacksmith shop.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
It's like the oldest building there, or something like that.
Yeah.
That was a cartoon reference though. Jean Lafitte's Feet Treats from Beetlejuice, the cartoon. You don't know?
I don't remember. It's been a long time since
I have to watch that again.
I mean, we tried to watch it, but no one's streaming it anywhere. But yeah, so we go to Lafitte's, which was fun. And then from there, we had met a group of ladies, and then from there, they brought us to a karaoke bar. Then from there, I remember singing Fat Lip. And then
You only remember that because we showed you the video.
yeah, and I do kind of remember going on stage a bit. And then I wake up at 9 a.m. the next day.
I have
day
drunk
one.
video. I have drunk video of James singing Fat Lip, but I want to see this video of James singing Fat Lip.
I'll send it to you.
You
I
have
saw
to.
something dancing, and I was like, it's fucking crazy. I mean, I was like, this is weirdly, I didn't get that hungover the next day. I mean, I was hungover, but I wasn't like, oh, I can't survive. Like, which is weird because you get blackout drunk like that. Usually, that's like.
Well, we kind of started drinking basically as soon as we got up the next morning.
And so.
Yeah.
Like
we walked to Melba's.
Okay,
Shout out to Melba's. Melba's was fantastic. Open 24 hours. I think it's on Rampart. I think that's the one we were on.
Yeah, I don't remember
right
what
there.
street it was, but yeah, shout out to them. They were they had always were open, always great food. You get whatever you want. Melba's is great.
Yeah. Shout out to Melba's. We went to Melba's and then we immediately went to the fucking Bourbon Street and started drinking.
Yeah, so Friday was the first day on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
Well, no, first we actually went to the Museum of Death.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which was, super cool. It's a lot smaller than the LA one. Apparently, the LA one they were telling us is even bigger now.
They say
it's
2-story now.
Since they moved to a new location or whatever. Yeah.
But this one is cool. So it's just a lot smaller, but it's still sick. And I finally got a new shirt. What was the machine they had there? Who is that?
Oh, they had Kevorkian's original death machine, which was fucking awesome. And and it was like on their side, so they already had like a tribute, like a thing memorial for so we paid our respects to Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
That's crazy. My birthday buddy passed away. It's terrible.
It's very terrible. On my birthday.
Huh? On your birthday, yeah, right.
Yeah. So that was the beginning of it, and then we just went out. So we kind of we really didn't know where we were kind of going or how this, this is our first, how this really works, right? So we just kind of popped into a random restaurant that had a balcony for a bit, and then we just started seeing this huge parade in the party, and then I don't know, where did we go from the restaurant? Did we just start?
We just started bar hopping from there,
Yeah.
and I don't even remember the first place we went.
Yeah, this was all we stayed on pretty much that whole Bourbon Street that first day of just kind of hopping into these like random bars. A lot of cover bands.
A lot of shitty cover bands.
I love it. You go to what is it? A cultural epicenter, and it's like bar. I don't know which bar. People dying. Bar. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I think you guys have done Mardi Gras right. Now I've had a couple of other friends that happen to be down there at the same time, right? As you
They're
guys
linked up.
Well, no. So, okay. One of them is a buddy of mine. She just had her first kid in June, and she lives down there. So they were at the dog parade as well, and she posted it in her story, and I was like, yo, I got friends down there. They're being debaucherous. One guy's got his dick out, and fucking the other one is showing his butthole to everybody. And
that was the same person.
And she was like,
it was not me for once.
She goes, well, we're having an entirely different experience this year. And I just fucking cracked up. Yeah, she was taking baby to all the parades, right?
But there are other things to do down there than just get debaucherously drunk.
I mean, you guys were, I love it. All the updates in the chat were tremendous for me.
I can get into all the details, because we do have a movie to talk about too. But I do want to shout out two more bars, which was, I don't remember the name of it. This dude Bo, who gave we hung out at his bar off. I don't remember
off Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
We were off Bourbon Street.
It was because they were as you're walking. It was like
actually we were technically right across the street from the Preservation Hall jazz, where the performances are. You know what I'm talking
Preservation Hall? Yeah, I know Preservation Hall.
Yeah, we were right across the street from the.
So my mom took me to Preservation Hall when I was a kid to see the jazz band play. I've still got.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were. That's what me and Derek was dancing to all the jazz in there.
Yeah.
So and it's all dudes that are 80 years old, which is, or at least when I went, it was still these really old dudes. And the youngest guy there had to have been 50, and he looked like a child in comparison to all these desperately old men. I remember that vividly. Still,
that's exactly the.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, that is Preservation Hall.
Dude, there was the drummer.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yes, it started pouring out that day, right? To the point where, I mean, you obviously, if that was my first time experience the Louisiana, New Orleans raid, but all the bathrooms are outside, so we literally had to it was up to almost our ankles in water just to get to the bathroom outside. So eventually we just we need to find a place to post up. We find this guy Bo's bar because we went there earlier. So we're let's go back, and we just hung out with this dude forever. And it was just raining out. He kept giving us cheap drinks all night. He made us these espresso martinis, and then
with king cake vodka.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It
kickstarted the rest of the night.
We could have kept going. I was from there. The rain stopped, and then the rain stopped, and it was just anarchy. But Bo, that guy was amazing. We went back the next day. He hooked us up again with some more shit, and then that day was actually on my birthday. And he actually brought us. Derek wasn't with us. He met us up a little later. He had more of a rough night. But we were hanging out at this dude Bo's bar, and Joe's like, "Oh, I know drums." He's like, "Oh, you know drums?" He's like, "Well, I kind of know drums." And Bo brings us upstairs, because I guess there's another floor to this bar that he's opening up soon that's not open to the public yet. And there's a drum kit up there, and he goes, "Joe, go play drums." And Joe just drunkenly is just bang bang, just shit.
Oh, that's amazing. Just tap tap tap. All right, drums.
I don't remember what Bo said, but he was just "Man, you weren't kidding when you said it's been a while." They played some drums, and then I don't know. That guy was chill. I don't remember the name of the bar. Do you at all?
I don't. I just remember where it's at. I just remember it's right across the street from the Preservation Hall.
And the doorman was from Jersey. He was cool too. Sal. Then we go to that same night we're walking. Also, it's weird. This is what I finally realized, man. How being 30, going out to these bars, these cover bands, and these bars that are playing other music that would normally be Bon Jovi or Motley Crue, are now literally playing Blink-182, Green Day shit. And it's just me. I was this is weird. Normally shit that
old man listen to.
I watched this one band play fucking what's that Motley Crue? Kickstart My Heart straight into then a Fall Out Boy song. I was what the fuck is going on here? So we just left. But there was this other bar though that was playing some other bands. I was oh cool. I walk in there, and there's a jukebox, and we're hanging out there for a minute. I'm starting to put money in the jukebox, and then we're just chatting up with this bartender, which I also don't remember his name. And that's when Derek comes through, and then this dude just starts giving us free drinks, free shots. He gave me his iPad, so I was just let me be the DJ in the bar all night.
What? Well, like this is a wonderful thing because it's like one of those deals where you show up and you're from Brooklyn, you got these kids from Missouri with you, and then all of a sudden you're the ones that get entrusted with. It's not a local, it's not a whatever. How you guys charm yourselves into these situations, I'll never know.
Oh. He loved us, yeah. Then no, he was cool at us. I wish I remembered. I just remember these bars' names. I would give them better shout outs.
All you guys did was, well, that's the thing. You also just wandered in the door, and it's like, what happens here? What do we do in this place? Like that.
And honestly, and I'm sure that's like a normal thing, with going out to like the locals and going out to Bourbon Street. But like, I had more fun going out to these like sidebars than I did actually like, the bigger, even though, it got fucking crazy. We had a great time. I won't say it wasn't fun, but I had a better time getting just like sitting in these one bars and for a while and just like hanging out there than the main party street.
Well, and that's anywhere you go in any of those bigger sort of situations, right? Like, because you got to know, like the locals count on this shit for literally like a huge portion of their yearly income. You know what I'm saying? Like Mardi Gras is a massive moneymaker for these people. So
I
Bourbon
believe it.
Street,
Derek paid $10.
I'd take $10 to take a piss, dude. I'm still mad about that.
So you got to figure most people are going to stick to that main strip because that's what everybody hears, right? So the people that are off Bourbon, the people that are off the main strips, those are the folks that are going to be more grateful too for people coming in, spending a little bit of time, a little bit of cash, because there's always shit going on there. And 9 times out of 10, that's where you're going to find the locals. That's where you're going to find sort of the better kind of situation, the more, for lack of a better term, authentic experience, right? But
yeah,
the party scene is what you go for. You know what I mean? That's what you go for. That's why you're there. But to explore a little bit is that's the joy.
Well, yeah. So I guess to get to the exploring part more too, we try to do a grave. One of the
we tried to go to St. Louis Cemetery 1, but they went at 25, and it was still fucking kind of raining. We were like, fuck this.
Yeah, it was $25 and raining, so we were like, nah.
Yeah,
fuck that.
No. You don't do that.
But
that's bullshit.
We did do it's fucking bullshit. But we did do the swamp tour, and on our one day we decided not to drink, even though we did drink.
We did
because they let us get beer at the swamp tour.
Yeah.
But swamp tour was also really cool.
Yeah. We saw the
what
grave,
did you meet Hatchet or whatever the fuck his name is?
No, but we did see the cemetery where they filmed Candy's from Django's
it was in Django.
Yeah, it's in Django.
And it also has like the oldest grave ever. It was like 16 something that they had there. That was like up on top of a hill. And some old plantation too that was also like over there. But it was like no gators though. I really wanted to see gators.
It was pretty cold though, dude. It was.
Yeah, they said it was too cold for the gators. But they had an albino gator inside like their place. Like, it was like the place you enter before you go into the swamp. They had an albino gator.
Ooh. Yeah, I like an albino alligator. Yeah. They make the most expensive shoes, the albino gators.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, so swamp tour was cool. I've never seen a swamp. The guy was cool, super educational. So that was fun. It was cold, but it was cool. We were out there for a while on a big boat. Then that was our calm day. We finally just hung back that day. So that was my official birthday day. We just played Monopoly until like 3 a.m. and then went to sleep.
Yeah. Dude, that's the thing. So like you guys just went and just drank. How are you rehydrating now? Are your bodies coming back to normal? What is the deal?
We just talked to Joe earlier, and honestly, I do feel more like a person today for some reason.
I feel a lot. I feel alive.
I'm still not there yet, probably because I'm just not home yet. But I do feel like I have a voice. I couldn't talk yesterday. Just from screaming.
I got my own bed last night because the fucking bed at the Airbnb for my fucking mattress sucked. It was like being in sleeping on a jail cot, like one of those jail mattresses. For those of you who have lived in jail, you will understand.
Oh, and speaking of bedding, your pillows are on the way, Derek.
All right, yeah, I get you.
We were like, already like on the highway, and Derek's like, "Fuck, I left my pillows."
Again, hysterical. I don't even know what to do with you guys. But you're finding out that the refractory, what is it? Yeah, your recovery period, the older you get, is significantly longer.
I mean, luckily I didn't feel like I got that hungover all weekend. Like, I mean, I was, but I was able to rally.
Yeah. I mean, if you just keep drinking, you're never hungover.
Well, I mean, until you stop.
But I would,
or you die, That's
one or the other, right?
I loved it out there, man. I would do it again. That place was a blast.
Well, that's the bigger question, right, bro? That's the much bigger question is, I know, and famously California was your vacation spot for birthdays going forward, or had been in the past. Going forward, are you now going to be coupling that with different spaces? Are you going back to Mardi Gras next year for birthday?
I mean,
what are you doing?
I would love to go back to Mardi Gras. I don't know how many more Mardi Gras I have in me. And, but
yeah, you don't want to be one of those fucking shit-faced, like hammered old folks we saw at the old folks bar.
There's no way that my body could handle that yearly, but I would definitely do it, at least like 3 more times or 2 more times,
At least one or 2 more you've got in you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So I mean, so we can successfully say, what is it? There will be a return of this purple and green Joker back to a Mardi Gras, correct?
Yes, this is the return. There will be a return of the Joker. Yeah, because that's what we're talking about today, man. No more Mardi Gras, because, man, I don't know. I can't keep talking about Mardi Gras. There's also a lot of it I don't remember, but we are talking about Return of the Joker today, and it sucks, man. Again, Liz is not with us. She wasn't with us last week because we were like, it's just better for you not to be on this episode. And this week she had some family things, and it sucks because usually, like the past 2, we've tried to talk about, Liz talked about being such a big fan of it. So hopefully, maybe we'll get her to talk about it next week when she comes back.
We can get a little bit from her. I mean, hell, even depending on the situation, maybe we can get a little something for the tube, like a little like Liz chat, Liz talk. You know what I mean? Like a brief 2 to 3 minute summary of where everything that we get wrong.
Yeah. Because, man, I love Batman Beyond. And Derek even has a little Batman Beyond Burger King figure, which I had too. I had this exact Burger King figure because I remember why. Like, I remember being so mad because it's such a cool figure, but his feet do not detach.
It spins around and all his wings do or come out.
So I couldn't play with it with my other toys, even though it was like the coolest Batman Beyond figure, because I couldn't fucking get it off the platform. But but Ben, what? And you said you haven't seen this movie before, but have you seen any Batman Beyonds?
So I sort of lied, I think, because, and maybe it came from like listicles, or maybe it came from other Batman stuff that I'd watched or whatever. But here's where I need like sort of the connection to the lore. So sort of help me out a little bit on this. This came out obviously after the animated series, right?
Yeah.
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 is Batman Beyond a full-blown extension of the animated series, or no? It's a separate entity.
No, it is. No, it's all connected. Because remember we watched that we did Justice League. Actually, we did it for the Bjarne birthday, my last birthday. The Batman Bjarne birthday, Batman Bjarne Boylan birthday bash. There we go.
The very specific episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. That was, remember that, because that was about it was even the more future than this, where Batman Beyond is now older, Terry McGinnis is older. We find out that Bruce Wayne's like his real dad because of what Amanda Waller did, like both of the. See, it's all connected, all of it, from the animated series to Superman, Justice League, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, and then there was like a weird middle show called the Zeta Project, which I think lasted like.
I've never heard of that show.
Yeah.
But I've heard all the other shows.
Yeah.
And I've seen all the other shows. Well, most of them.
But Beyond is the coolest, man. I like fucking love Batman Beyond. Like, I remember the story was that what's up?
No, so to really answer your question, like 100%, I think I have seen this because from the beginning, so much of it looked very familiar. And then by the time we get to sort of the middle of it, where it's they've got Robin on the slab, and we'll get there into the history of it, right? That whole section, like I know, and I had seen that entire section. So if it existed as a separate episode of the cartoon at some point, then I believe I had seen at least just that, if not the whole movie.
Well, the movie was definitely made as. Oh yeah, but the movie was always its own movie. I don't think they ever put it into the actual show. The Joker is not in the show at all.
Right.
Like it's just the Joker gang. But yeah, no, I love Batman the Animated Series. It's like, it's a cool take. I mean, normally you do kind of like a new take like this, the kind of stuff, and it just kind of sucks. You know, like I remember they tried doing like a Spider-Man version of this kind of, which is really bad. Like Spider-Man something.
Are you talking about Spider-Man 2099?
No, that's like that's more recent, so I guess that's cool. But no, there was like a different show. I can't remember. But this show, man, like Terry McGinnis is just like I love the way Batman is, man. Like he's kind of has this like Spider-Man-ish like suit that's also Batman-ish. He has all these.
It's a lot of tech in it. I love it.
So as we get into this, like, so pick us up from the start. We've got a gang of people, of baddies that are referred to as Jokers, right? Mm-hmm. And there's Bonk Bonk or whatever the fuck his name is. There's what?
Voiced by Henry Rollins.
Voiced by Henry Rollins. Then there's the twins.
Voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Not Sarah Michelle Gellar. Melissa
Joan Hart. Yeah, Clarissa. Clarissa.
If you're so smart, explain this, Clarissa. I love MSI. I don't care how many times Little Jimmy Urine gets canceled. I love MSI. I will go on record. But anyway, so the big voice talent at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who voices Batman is, Ron Stoppable from Kim Possible, but also, Eric, the older brother of Boy Meets World.
Right. So
yeah, Stack Boy.
As the story sort of starts, and I wasn't able to watch the YouTube video you sent, I apologize. So if any of this is in there, or if you get into sort of that, let me know. Just pipe in whenever. But basically, we have this awesome sort of fight scene coming in from the very beginning. Like this thing jumps off with some big action, and it's a party. That was like, I also like this version of Batman, like, because to your point, like it's almost like a better Batman because he's and they reference it later on in the film, in the big resolution, in the big denouement. But he is a little lippier. You know what I mean? He's got a little bit more attitude. He's a little mouthy. He's a little whatever, and he doesn't quit talking. as he's kind of going through these things. And we're used to this broody Bruce Wayne-y Batman that doesn't say or do much of anything a lot of the times. He might pop off.
But also still he's not like full Spider-Man either. Like he still has the broodiness in him. You know, it's like this cool mix of like, yeah, I'm a talky dude, but I'm also still dark and I'm going to punch your face in.
Right. But as opposed to like full-blown one-liners or just simply one-liners, we're getting like almost a full-blown dialogue from him as it goes along. Yeah. I enjoy that. I like that. But yeah, after the big fight.
Yes, after the big fight, right? I think we get the first Joker after that, right?
Yes, I believe so. I believe you are correct. It's midday and the puppies see something they like. I don't know what it is. It's never a quiet moment.
Watch this YouTube video because it's all about the censorship. And a lot of it comes through the Joker that they put in this movie. Like he is very much like censored down. I mean, actually, the cut that we watch now is the unrated cut.
Yeah, it's the uncensored version.
But like it was because of just how dark and fucked up they made him. Because there's an initial scene where after the goons rob him, right? They go back to they're like, oh, we fucked up. You know, Batman beat us. We only got this thing. The Joker gets pissed. You know, he breaks the thing, and then when he shoots the guy, that was also initially cut out. And initially too, he was like dead, flopping on the table. And they just cut it out.
So, in the brief little bit that I did read, a lot of that seemed to be in response to Columbine.
I mean, this movie is 99, I'm pretty sure. Or it came out, I think, in actually 2001. Because it also took forever to come out because of shit like that. Like, there's a lot. We'll talk about it too with certain scenes, but there's a lot of stuff later in the movie that were also completely reanimated, not even just cut out.
But so, because of the violence in what is supposed to essentially be a child's cartoon.
Yeah, which I think is just like, I mean, they're not like, I get why Warner Brothers is like, hey, this is our child's cartoon. You can't do this. But at the same time, these guys have been making Batman for this long. And it's like, where these guys are going. It's like, either let them do it or get somebody else to do it, right?
So, and that I think overall is sort of the bigger kind of touch point with a thing like Batman. And I think it says something about where we've gone as a culture sort of overall, right? Like, and we talked a little bit about it with Looney Tunes with Dwayne, but the idea that cartoons were just for kids came up through and you've always had like adult-based sort of cartoons, but they were always marketed as adults, right? So it starts off in like the 40s and 50s. Anybody can watch a cartoon. It's made for an audience that is older, younger, whatever. And then somewhere in like the 50s, 60s, it becomes, well, these are for children, and then we'll have a very specific adult thing. And then that seemed to carry for like forever, where there was this like massive separation in what was for adults and what was for children, until you get to something like a comic book thing. And I think it's only more recently that we're finding that blending kind of happening again.
I think like recently with cartoons, like they're only actually made for more, like they're made for more adults today than I think like kids cartoons.
Absolutely. They're made for people that target age demographic, that 18 to 35-year-old.
Even, Bruce Timm is making a new Batman show that was canceled on HBO. Then I think Amazon's making it now. But it's like basically Batman the Animated Series, but now he doesn't have to be censored.
Well, this is a kind of a threshold moment, I would think, where Warner Brothers shortly after that starts making the more of what we see today in their DC animation, because the DC animation that's now is not, it's way more adult.
True.
Even
the animation style in itself.
100%. And those DC animated movies that they're pumping out are tremendous. They're really, really like they're exceptional. You know, I don't mind a hard R Suicide Squad. I don't like the thing that popped up for me because I watched this on Tubi, right? The thing that popped up immediately after is the what is it? Ascent into Arkham or whatever. The one, it's the Suicide Squad movie where
yeah.
where they go into Arkham. And that's a party to watch.
That's
you know what I
party.
mean?
That's
Yeah, it's a good movie. And now they just put out Crisis, and shout out to Kevin Conroy, you know, the legend. His last Batman voice apparently is going to be in the part 2 of the second Crisis animated movie.
R.I.P.
Nice.
Blue Legend.
Very nice. That's going to be good. But
yeah.
So we see the first hint of our Joker, right? We see him.
Yeah. But
Take
like,
me to where we go next.
Like, to me, it starts getting real good when they're at like the press meeting where Bruce Wayne comes out and he's like,
that's our first real appearance of Joker, though.
Yeah, exactly. When Joker like confronts Bruce Wayne and he's like scared, you know, because it doesn't take a lot for Bruce Wayne to get scared, obviously.
And especially like because of the what is it, the old friend, he calls him something like that, like his old friend, his old buddy. And yeah, he knows exactly who he's dealing with. And in that moment you sort of see it's a different kind of Bruce Wayne, and maybe not to the Batman Beyond folks, the crowd that's seen it, but if this is your jump into that universe, what you see in that moment is a weird kind of thing. As a Batman fan, you see a Bruce Wayne that's not necessarily like old and he's not necessarily old and what's the word I'm looking for? Like God damn it, like an oracle. He's sort of becomes like this wizened sort of philosopher, this leader guy. But in that moment, you see a frail old man. You see a scared, frail old man.
Especially because this Joker too is a lot like buffer too than like the original Joker. Like that, like they gave him some fucking like beef.
He's got some meat to him, baby.
Yeah,
he's got some meat.
And this is definitely the first time Joker's ever been able to manhandle Batman ever. You know, so that's also terrifying, I'm sure, to Bruce.
And it's what is it? You see the new Batman. What's his name again?
Terry McGinnis. Terry
McGinnis. You see McGinnis. He's there because he's Bruce Wayne's. Now explain his relationship in the cartoon to Bruce Wayne, because he's what, like his little errand boy? He's like his little personal assistant.
His ward because he accidentally comes across the.
Well, yeah. What happens is, well, besides the fact that he is Bruce Wayne's son, like that was the big episode twist that we watched, right? That's how it all really ties together. But in the actual pilot, Terry he's a teenager who has both his parents and a brother, and when his dad worked for this guy called Powers, I've heard his full name, but it's like something Powers. And then he finds like some like legal files or whatever. His dad gets murdered by the Joker gang, quote unquote. And Terry starts to go after them or whatever, and then he kind of like stumbles across like the Batcave and like steals this bat suit that he found in there, and then like whatever, Bruce Wayne yells at him, and eventually they decide to figure out who murdered his dad. I think that also the guy that they expect, Powers, is trying to take over Wayne Corp. So it's like their way to work together, take him down.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
So Terry McGinnis still has a mom still and a brother. Like he's not a full orphan like Batman or pretty much any of the other Bat family.
Except for Barbara.
And Barbara, yeah, except for Barbara.
So, okay. And that's where I got like a little lost, is like kind of who's who, as they're older, as they're younger, all of that stuff, right? So a lot of that went kind of out the window for me. Throughout the main series cartoon, though, all of our Batman staples are still sort of there, right? They all still kind of show up, yeah?
Are you talking about the villains?
No, not the villains. But like a Bruce Wayne. Everybody's just older and more grizzled. A couple of them, I'm sure, are dead or whatever. But like,
Yeah, Barb's now commissioner.
yeah.
She's a
Nightwing. Dick Grayson never appears in the show for some reason at all.
Dick Grayson
They
never
do
shows
sh-
up.
Yeah.
I will say they do in this movie. They do show Bloodhaven from across, because it's basically across the bay from Gotham, right?
Right.
And they show it, and it's just absolutely fucking destroyed. So and now that I think about it, I kind of assume that he might not be with us anymore at this point.
Oh, maybe. I said they never really hinted
Yeah.
anything about where
They
he
just
is.
kind of show Bloodhaven.
And this is also the first time we've seen Tim Drake. He was also never in the show either.
So not until here okay, because that was going to be another question of mine. Like, because
And to be fair, it's part of the show was that they like didn't want to actually bring a lot of old Batman stuff in. Like they do have like a couple of villains, and they have Barber, but they actually never really bring in a lot of old Batman into it.
got it. Okay. Because and again, I guess sort of like from the idea of like good storytelling, good writing, for a movie like this, when you're bringing back a character as iconic as the Joker, this is where you would want to dip into your older characters.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Like this is the most older characters pretty much than the entire show. Like I think the only other villains that show up that I remember was there was a Freeze episode, there was a Bane episode.
I think
Bane,
it's a Clayface episode too.
maybe. I remember my favorite is Bane because they think there's like a new Venom kind of going around. So they think Bane, they see Bane is still alive, so they go visit him, but he's like geriatric and like stuck in a chair, just like hooked up to tubes on life support.
What?
And they were like, "Oh, he's not doing anything. He's not our bad guy."
That's crazy. That's crazy. But to what Derek just said, as far as Clayface goes, I think Clayface would actually be ripe for something like this. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I could see him being sort of elevated from like sort of like C or B list to an A lister in this at the series, just because of the idea of what Clayface is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they never, as far as I remember, like also I know there's no Catwoman either
No.
Right.
in the show.
So okay.
Yeah, so having the Joker back is a huge deal. That's why you make the movie at that point.
And then also, just to clarify for me, the Scarecrow that we see in this is not the.
No,
His name is Ghoul,
Yeah, he's a ghoul.
and he is just a member of the Joker gang.
Yeah, and voiced by Michael Rosenbaum, who is apparently also just doing a Christopher Walken impression the entire time.
The entire time, yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right.
Michael Rosenbaum, Luther and the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
So from that fight, now at this point, we've seen Terry's. We've sort of seen a little bit of his personality. I can't remember exactly. I watched this last night, but I still got fog brain from the last week.
So Batman tells him, like, you need to stop. The Joker's back.
Yeah, don't
Leave
fuck
it.
with it.
So then he's fine. So then he's like home for like the first time ever.
Well,
his brother's annoyed by it.
So he basically quits on Bruce, though, right? Like Bruce is like, don't fuck with it, don't whatever. And then he gives him that whole big speech about how like I was a bad kid, I was terrible, and he's like, this is my redemption as being Batman, and he's like, leave it
'cause he
alone.
was an asshole too. I forgot to mention that he was an asshole
Yeah, he was kind of
teenager.
a delinquent.
Yeah. And but he throws the suit down and he fucks off and he goes home. We see Terry at his home, but he's already told his old lady, or we've seen him at the club once with his old lady beforehand. And then we see him back at the club that night after I did think it was very funny when like his little brother was like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he in our house?
Yeah. But, that's just his way of saying I miss you.
Of course, yes. Of course. So he goes
to the club because he finally gets to hang out with his girl because he never gets to do that at all.
Well, the first time we saw him, he ends up accidentally like hitting on some other lady because he's just completely assed out from being up all night and work all day, and
out in a club like that, I
yeah.
imagine.
You just spent a week in clubs like that.
Yeah.
I still have to sleep. I still had to sleep with the fan on. I needed that white noise.
I love it.
Derek did dance in a club together because we got kind of lost in people for a minute.
Yeah.
And we just popped into a club and just started dancing.
I love it. I love it. All I know is I saw a post from your third compatriot at one point going, "I must be drunk. Vanilla Ice is on and my butt's shaking." Something like that.
He was twerking in the streets, man.
Yeah.
Something. But so yeah, they're in the Batman's in a club. And, finally he's enjoying himself, and then the fucking Joker gang shows up again. It's like, what? How do they know? But they know, and they kidnap his girl.
I loved that motorcycle ride too, as he's headed back to sort of the Batcave, right? Because this is his kind of big call to action. Now they're not fucking with Batman; they're fucking with him.
Which is good writing, right? Because then it's like a hero thing of like, I could just stop doing it at any point, but then when they pull you back in,
it's Godfather 3. It's that Godfather 3 moment.
There you go, right? But
that at the same time, though, in this, to add on, at the same time, isn't this the same time that Joker goes and attacks Bruce Wayne?
Oh, he does. Yeah, he attacks the cave.
He attacks Bruce Wayne and Ace.
Oh,
because when Terry gets there, what he finds is Bruce all hopped up on like Joker gas.
Yeah, because Joker somehow knows where his cave is. He destroys everything. And said he beats up Ace.
How do you beat the dog? How do you beat the dog? That's how you know, like, real evil in movies and television and cartoons.
And I'm pretty sure they cut it out, actually, in the original version. Like, the censored version.
Well, yeah, you can't go around beating on dogs, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta hide that behind closed doors.
But no spoilers. But Ace gets his revenge.
He does get his revenge, which is great. But yeah, Batman's all fucked up. I weirdly, somehow at the exact moment, Batman is also making the Joker antidote when he gets attacked.
So, well, okay, was he making it, or was it like, and that was the thing too for me. I was like, oh, I don't think he was making it. I think that was left over from his previous battles, and that's why it was underneath the thing. I think he always just kept it there. Because if he's Batman...
It has to have made more, right? I mean, that shit's also old. Who knows how it expires.
Exactly.
I'm sure he made like, or, whatever.
But if you're Batman, and you know Batman lore, like, he's prepped and ready for everything. So,
Yeah.
That's what I would
say. Good timing. He just pulled them out as the Joker came into the Batcave.
Well, he said no. He said it was underneath the thing. So when the Joker knocked over a deal,
but he had it above. It was underneath the table because the Joker attacked him, and it
Right.
fell off the table.
Well, okay. So now we're gonna get into semantics, right? Like this is where we're gonna get into a couple of things. So it could have been left over, or it could be the simple fact that, okay, the Joker's back. I know one of his main tools is Joker gas. He's done this 1,000 times in the past. I need to start synthesizing again.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying it was good timing. It was just right there.
Perfect.
Yeah, then Terry McGinnis comes in, whatever, and saves his life. But now it's personal. Now Terry also has nobody because now Bruce is out. Who's he going to trust? Who does he trust, Eric?
No one, himself.
Well, there's also one more person. Barbara Gordon.
Barbara Gordon, yes, I forgot about Barbara. The meeting after they meet Bruce in the hospital, like he's at Wayne Manor, and they have Terry's watching television, and they mention the accident, They
Well,
had-
technically, Ace was watching television, and then Terry sat next to the dog watching cartoons,
yeah.
which also I love too. I love they just put like a random like Warner Brothers cartoon inside a new Warner Brothers cartoon.
Oh, dude, you fucking absolutely have to. You absolutely have to. Why not? If
Yeah,
I
why
could
not?
put shithouse movies in other shithouse movies constantly, it's all I would ever do. It's all I will do.
Yeah, it's not impossible. We could do it. But yeah, so then we get Barbara. We finally get to the backstory, man. And honestly, this is like the most fucked up backstory I think has happened to a Robin. Like, because there's the Jason Todd instance, right?
Yeah, where Jason Todd is kidnapped by. It's basically the story from the comic book where Robin, after Dick's gone, and they get Jason Todd. You know the story where they put the 800 number in the back of the comic book to decide Robin's fate.
To
'cause
decide
he's
Robin's
kidnapped by
fate.
Joker. And then, of course, Joker beats him to death and beats him basically to a pulp, and then blows the building up. And no more Robin, right? That's a sad story, but this is damaged Robin.
Yeah. Like that Joker just beat the shit out of Jason Todd. This dude like left him with long-standing mental trauma.
What did it say? It took him, after they rescue Robin, it took a doctor a year to break his insanity from all the torture and the spells of Joker serum.
Now this is a kid's movie.
Yep. But when you see him, like that's the other thing is Joker's bringing him out. This was what I was referencing beforehand, right? When you see him on that table and he comes out the first time and Joker's going through the whole movies, that's where we're at, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I also forget Tim Drake was also a Robin, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like one after Jason Todd.
Got it. Okay. So okay.
But in the animated series, they skip Jason Todd though. Like they skip over Jason Todd. Like in the animated series,
because the story's too dark for the animated
right.
series.
Okay, but we're talking about wait. We're talking about though in the cartoon that we watched, it's Tim Drake is that Joker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I'm getting a little like too many Robins. Tim Drake is the Joker, is the Robin that the Joker has kidnapped with Harley, and that they are turning into their child.
Yeah, Joker Jr.
Double J. One of the funniest bits in that fucking whole deal is Joker's home movies. When they're going through the Joker's home movies and he's explaining how he did this to Tim Drake, to Robin, is hysterical. When he's got the the apron on and the chef hat and he's at the grill and he's like, you don't
Okay.
He goes, you don't like the movies? Well, I got the slides too. I have a slideshow instead if you'd prefer that. Hysterical to me. I don't know why. I laughed very loudly at that.
But that's what makes the Joker, one of the best villains, right? Because it's just hilarious, but he's like literally grooming and shocking and torturing this child at the same time.
It's too good. It's too good. It's too good. But then to see him come after fucking what is it, after Batman with the bazooka and the whole fucking nine. But then there's still
Batman the knee.
Yeah, right? What?
It was also cut out. That was one of the things that was cut out initially. They're like, because Joker's bleeding in a scene, then he gets stabbed, and Batman throws a knife, and all three of those were completely cut out originally.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
When we watched it, we were talking about this was one of the scenes that was completely reanimated for the.
Because so the end of it, right? The little Joker Jr. He's going crazy. Joker's trying to get him to shoot Batman, but Tim Drake ends up shooting Joker instead, right? And then the Joker says something, "Oh, that's not funny," or something like that, and then
that's
dies.
Not funny.
Yeah.
In the censored version, they completely reanimated that entire sequence. Instead, the Joker like falls back into like a bunch of wires, and then as he like stands up, also they made the scene raining, so then they'll take everything was wet and there's wires, and then Joker stands up, slips on water, pulls like an electric lever, and like they cut to like a wide shot of the buildings. You see like an electric, and you hear him yell. That's it.
So he basically gets fried instead of being murdered by Robin.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Okay. But when he gets shot and you see that blood trickling out of the Joker's mouth, that's nuts. That's nuts to me. I couldn't imagine this ending a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, that's what makes it so dark, and it's like how the Joker still kind of wins in the end, in a way, you know, where it's like Tim Drake is fucked up forever.
My God. I loved the flashback. And again, that's the part that weirdly I am the most familiar with in all of this. Like, I'm assuming it's got to be from like listicles. And if I have seen, yeah,
this is always talked about. It's because they completely reanimated. It was all the like this was part of the hold up in the movie. So I'm sure a lot of listicles bring it up for whatever various reasons.
Right.
But yeah, but I love this fucking backstory, man. Really, it really shows you how like it makes the Joker that we see, because we see how Barb and Batman respond to him, and then now we kind of understand why in a perfect way. Of like, oh, this is why they're so fucking terrified. Because the last time you saw him, he just literally manipulated our friend.
He gave a child Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. He turned a child into Patty Hearst.
Yeah.
And a Batman trained child. Yeah, a Batman think about a Batman trained Patty Hearst. That, you know, that's basically Robin.
So then we get
I love you.
It made sense to me.
It does. It makes so much sense. You're hysterical. So from our flashback, James, where do we go?
So finally, Batman. So there's this other guy. I forget who he is. He might have been made for the movie, because normally Wayne. I forget it in the show, but the Wayne Enterprises is not owned by Wayne, or he's like a part owner now. I said there's this other guy, Powers, and I think this guy is different. I think he's now like the other new bad rich guy owner, but whatever. He also works for Wayne Enterprises, and he was working with the Joker gang. And then Batman goes to the boat to go investigate him, but the Joker gang, like, you know, already kidnaps.
Yeah, because Joker uses him to get access to a satellite.
That's
a Wayne Tech satellite.
That's what it was. You're right. Yeah. Then the Joker gang shows up in his yacht.
His yacht. I also need to know more about just this Joker gang. Do they show up?
Not much to know. They literally show up in the pilot.
Basically, they just worship. Now that Joker's dead, he's kind of left this. Yeah,
he's got like a cult basically.
Yeah,
in the future.
And they're just like the heads, kind of the faces of the cult of the Joker.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
The one in the, I know the one animal looking dude. What was it? Like
hyena, yeah.
That's actually a whole episode. I don't think specifically that dude, but like there's a whole episode. Like there's like basically like instead of plastic surgery, like people do these like
genetic splicing.
Yeah, splicing. That's like a whole thing also in the universe of splicing. And then so we get to the boat. Batman comes in, and then we find out the Joker has a fucking satellite and just nukes this yacht and flies off all cool like in his fucking jet boots.
Yep. Wait, he has to. You're talking about Batman flying off in his jet boots?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to rescue the guy, and he throws him off his back and somehow catches him on his back again. It was cool. I like that. I'm just saying I like that animation. That's that whole sequence of just Terry in his suit trying to escape this wave of water after the Joker's used this Wayne Tech satellite to blow up a yacht.
So Joker taking over that satellite again, like there's just so much that starts to go on with this. Like I love the notion that he's using he's using Wayne's stuff against himself, against Wayne, right?
Yeah.
You put these things out there for quote unquote the betterment of humanity that Batman, his own ass has as fucking like as these tools that he would need should shit ever go bad. And then it becomes like, well, how does this new Joker, this reiteration of the Joker, this ghost, how does he know where these things are, what they are? Has Joker become omnipotent in these moments? You know what I mean? These are the questions that we're asking. And at this point, we gotten to, well, a little bit. So it's in that they go to Tim Drake, and when they're talking
like,
with him, it's like he's the whole no, like that fucked me up for a minute, and I see his face every night, and he has that little breakdown. It's
this is before.
This is way before that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is way before that. Sorry.
He's from like normal at the satellite first, and he's like, "Hey, do you know anything about this? You were, the Joker's back." And he's like,
And
"I don't know."
Working for the satellite company.
Yeah, I don't. Okay. Yeah. Again, you guys are gonna have to bring me to Foggy.
Yeah. So after they realize the Joker's got the satellite, he goes to Tim Drake and is like, "We want to know what's going on because you were the last person to see him, and we know it fucked you up and what's going on." And he's like, "I don't go get out or anything."
And then then goes to Taylor McGinnis, just kind of in the back cave trying to do detective shit. Bruce finally comes back. I think they have like some moment. I can't remember what the exact dialogue was, but they said something about like clues are usually a lot simpler, in front of you or something like that. And they're like, "Oh, Tim Drake is working for the Joker." And then that's when they go try to find again where he has this breakdown.
Also, a scene that I absolutely fucking loved was that breakdown. I thought that was like literally exceptional, right?
Oh, who's the voice actor?
Dean Stockwell. Dean Stockwell was Tim Drake. Dean Stockwell from Quantum Leap.
Oh, really?
He was, the computer guy from Quantum Leap. Yeah, he was the voice of Tim Drake.
Wow. I had no idea. Like, again, I didn't watch through for credits or any of that stuff. Like, I love hearing this. I watched this mostly for just simple story. And then I kept getting like triggered. Like, you've seen these moments before.
Yeah. But yeah, so then that monologue is just so cool. It's like you see you finally witness like the trauma again in front of your eyes and how like
Terry gets to see it. Terry finally gets to witness what is going on in his head. And he is, even because he's got the one cool thing about the new Batman Beyond suit is like whenever Terry's out, Bruce is with him in the suit. So, Bruce is basically his guy and he's his guy in the chair, right?
Yeah.
So he sees everything and he's reading his like vital signs. He's like, he's not lying. He does not know what the fuck's going on. And then it's in that moment that, he turns and then you realize that Joker's breaking.
Oh, because there's a moment too we didn't talk about because you asked me, Derek, you were like, or maybe this is after him. Now I'm remembering different pieces because there's like I guess it must have been because there's the second satellite scene. And I guess I don't remember if it's after this, before this.
It's on the way to find Joker. It's on the way to find Joker.
Because the Joker like disappears, and you were like, "Why did Joker just stop?" No, it's like keep watching, Derek. You'll find out why he just.
It's on the way to find him at the candy factory. Is where they're at.
So yes, that was after this. Then
it was before the breakdown. It's before the breakdown. He gets there and he realizes Terry's there, and he's like, "What the fuck? Why are you here? I'm gonna Because I caught him in the act, and then that's when they realize that he's not. Yeah. Terry has Tim has no idea what the fuck's going on, and then that's Joker turns.
No, I do watch. I'm watching. I know it's a kids movie, but it's like if it's like New York City and there's like a satellite beam that is just like blowing streets up. Like, how is it only Batman? That's like caring, dealing with this? Like, wouldn't like some sort of government or like police?
Well, the
or
traffic, as he's going, driving.
Yeah,
his
he's driving through
Batmobile,
traffic.
and he's got his dog. He's got Ace with him, and Ace is not in the seatbelt. He's not wearing a seatbelt. I've got all that stuff.
That's also another censorship too. I remembered is that they put seatbelts on Batman, and all the buildings that you'll see destroyed in that sequence, all the lights are off.
So no one's in them. But in the version we watched, they're all on. But all the cars keep driving towards the laser beam. You know.
Okay, and so if there is a giant laser beam taking out a major metropolitan area, okay, like we'll put it in Nashville. Even forget New York, even if it's Nashville, right? I promise you, the National Guard is out. The motherfucking army is on the way. You know what I mean? Like somebody somewhere is making phone calls to Derek's point, to y'all's point. How is that not possible?
Wonders of cartoons.
Shit. Do you think this is why? Do you think this is why the younger generation doesn't trust the government?
Probably
because they never answered.
They never come help. Yeah. They're like, we'll be there in a couple of days.
With the guy on the swamp tour.
Oh yeah, the swamp tour too just kept.
He told us that it took him like a year to build a bridge after Katrina or Ida.
Wait, say that again. What?
So we were on the swamp tour, and he's like, up here where they're building this bridge, they were still building a bridge. He's like, they've been at this for like a year or a couple years after Ida. It's just taking them forever to build this bridge.
Yep, that's bureaucracy at work.
Yeah, our swamp tour guy, he
was cool.
Yeah, he did not hold back.
No.
Louisiana governing.
Yeah.
And how they treat the swamps.
Love it.
Bayous.
Yeah.
But so we're now I'm lost again.
We're after the car chase with the laser beams, and then
Joker back to Tim Drake.
Yeah. And then he meets Tim Drake and he has his breakdown and then turns into Joker again.
Right. And there's also when Ace fights the fucking hyena guy too. So Ace gets his comeback.
I love Ace. Such a good boy.
Yeah. How old is that dog, man?
Like, that's what I asked at the beginning of it, because like Ace was, he's a Great Dane for one thing, and those dogs don't have a long.
Yeah, I'm sure it must be a descendant of Ace. That's what I imagine.
Yeah, probably. They probably bred him with.
Bruce Wayne seems to be pretty smart, unless he's figured out a way to just keep your dog alive forever.
Yeah, obviously he has. I think you can do it.
We can dream. We can only hope.
Yeah, maybe it's the same dog maybe it's the Ace from the new it's Super Pets movie.
The Rock?
Yeah. No,
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Kevin Hart. Yeah, Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah. But Ace gets his comeback, fights him. Tim Drake goes down there, and then that's when he starts having another breakdown. He starts like actually turning into the Joker, which is sick. And then that's when we finally get the weird reveal. Because I remember actually being confused. So I watched this movie when I was a kid. I remember renting a DVD from Blockbuster.
What?
Yeah, and I remember watching that part of the movie.
You're dating yourself there, bro.
No.
I'm
31.
Throwing it out that he's getting old, bugs.
When I remember watching it for the first time and then having to like rewatch it like a couple of times. Besides just wanting to rewatch it, but the scene with the Joker always confused me. It's like I don't understand how he just existed inside. Now I kind of get it. Whatever, it's technology. The Joker's evil. They just transform, whatever. But that bit always confused me.
It's a confusing kind of gimmick because you don't know how, when
it's like it's science out and smart.
Well, when does the trauma spark it to happen, and then how often does it have to happen before he can transform at whim? And like over the course of those years that he was embedded in there, how long was it really until the first time that it popped? I don't know that they explained that.
No, they don't. I mean, that would be because this movie is only an hour and 17 minutes. So I'm sure if this was like a full 2-hour movie, we probably would have got some of that, which would have been sick. Imagine you're just like, I don't know. That's kind of like Tim Drake's just hanging out with his family, whatever, and he's seeing like the Joker and his reflections places. You know, his kids are Jokers. I don't know what, just like random like weird visions like that. It'd be creepy.
I love it.
Did you hear? Oh, okay.
It's like you guys are kind of there's like a little bit of a gap, but it's okay.
Shout out to Derek's Wi-Fi here.
What? You have to use a hotspot.
So
You're a hotspot.
Tim Drake becomes a Joker. Finally get the big reveal. I'm inside Tim Drake's brain the entire time. Which is also, I mean, I guess what it's saying is, right, it's all about like repressed trauma. At least that's what I kind of got from this whole story of like, between child abuse leading into like repressed trauma that comes back later.
It's like, that's the thing. Trauma never, ever, ever fucking leaves. You know what I mean? And it rears itself years later. It's always latent. It's always there. And like the fact that, Tim went through all this to begin with, and then now is also still fucking dealing with it and unaware of it. What is it the Joker says at one point when he's giving his big speech, his big sort of final speech? He's like, it's been there the whole, what he thinks are these bad dreams. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, he thinks these bad dreams but it's really Joker inside his consciousness. I've been here the whole time, I think is what it says.
Yeah.
And when I've been just playing my cards right, like when do I decide to come out and
yeah.
I'm on.
Yeah. So where does this put us story-wise, James? Where does this take us?
I mean, it's the big. It's not the big finale yet. No, it is basically the finale at this point. Right, I'm trying to remember the exact weight I did. Because I know he fights Joe. He gets the reveal. All right, now I remember. They get into a fight. Joker's beating him up because the Joker is now like buff Joker, so now he can even take on McGinnis. And also, he's like, he threw something to him, McGinnis, as he was transforming into the Joker that like shocked him or whatever. And then like Bruce Wayne is trying to tell him how to beat him, and then Terry, that's when he comes up with his thing. He's like, "Oh wait, I'm not your Batman. I'm me Batman. I'm my own Batman.
I'm my own Batman."
He hasn't fought this Batman, because he's Tim Drake Batman or Tim Drake Joker. So Tim Drake wouldn't know Joker.
I mean, the Joker wouldn't know. None of them have fought this Batman.
Yeah.
But if Batman, he doesn't have to fight him. He's got to talk a lot of shit. He's got to out shit talk Joker.
This is arguably the greatest thing once he figures that out, right? Yeah. Oh, this is why you were always trying to make the old man laugh, but you couldn't make the old man laugh. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't do it. You couldn't break him. Why? He's got no sense of humor. And he's shit-talking Bruce Wayne at the same time like he's shit-talking the Joker, which is hysterical to me. He keeps busting his fucking balls. And it's like the idea of the ultimate is sort of like, I'll pick on you, but you can't pick on me, that kind of bully situation. It literally makes Joker out to be nothing more than a fucking shitty fucking schoolyard bully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the second you start to throw it back at him is the second that you throw him off of his game, which gives you the motivation, or it gives you sort of better placement overall to take him out, which it genuinely does. Even in that moment where you think like Joker might fucking have him, right? Bammo. What happens? Fucking no. You've set yourself up in your rage. You haven't even realized that you've got the wrong part of his body. You've got him by the fucking neck when you need to have him by the fucking arms, because why?
Yeah.
He's got his hands free. He's got shit that can fuck you up and your whole skis, dude. I loved that. I thought that was tremendous.
But it's like that's what brings me back to the weird chip in his neck. So to me, it comes like when I'm watching, I'm thinking they're like, all right, how do we explain this thing to kids in a way that's like we can just also move the plot along? All right, he's got a chip in his neck. Terry McGinnis has like computer hands. He'll shock the the thing off his neck, and then the Joker's gone forever. You know, like it was such a like easy out of a plot device.
It was hysterical. And then what ends up happening? That the satellite, as it's kind of moving, it takes out the place that they're in.
He like sets the satellite. He resets it to that thing.
Yeah,
which is also weird because still nobody shows up.
I love
they have other things to do.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was great. And yes, that brings us to the end of the movie. I mean, obviously Tim Drake gets his help again, and the Bat family reunites because obviously Bruce cut him off for all those years. He was like, "You're gone."
Yeah, because he didn't trust him because he was like, "You've got Stockholm syndrome. You're fucked in the head."
And he also feels like he betrayed him, and he's part of the reason why you're fucked up. I brought you in this, and now you're mentally fucked up forever.
The best thing for you. And like I sort of get that. Like I sort of get that overall is like, you know what? I'm partially responsible for this. The only way for you to move forward, for you to heal, ultimately, is for you to not have any reminders of this because you're constantly going to be reminded of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be that sort of situation. But fucking, it's like,
and at the same time, Bruce never takes another ward after Tim. After that,
refused to because of how fucked up
everything was. I cannot do this to another person.
And as we see, Barbara Gordon left to just be a cop to follow that way of taking over crime instead of doing the Batman thing. That's why I really love like the endings of this because, like I said, they reunite as a Bat family. But it also sets you up, reminds you of why Terry McGinnis is Batman. Like he deserves to be Batman. He's not just like a carbon copy, just another face. Like he has his own reasons and has owned his own rights to like be who Batman is.
He's finally earned the cowl. Like it's to be the Batman that is Terry McGinnis and not trying to be Bruce Wayne or even Nightwing or any of the other people.
He's his own Batman.
And that's all you ever needed to be. Is your own. You're your own Batman inside, kids. Remember that. You're your own Batman inside.
Yes, that needs to be on a t-shirt.
I loved though when they're at the hospital and then Bruce comes back. You know what I mean though? He does finally go see him because Tim Drake's giving Terry that fucking like little speech. You know what I'm saying? Like he gives him that little fucking speech and I forget exactly what he says about people not showing up. And I think it might be Drake's old lady that mentions it, right? About certain people not showing up. And then you get that sort of surprise with Bruce showing up. And it's a really sort of tender fucking note to end this out on. It's old people realizing maybe the folly of their ways. It's pretty good, man.
Yeah, so then Batman rides off into the sunset. Now, there's the one last scene. I can't remember if it was the post-credit or it happens immediately before the credits, but we get to the Joker girls, the twins.
Yes.
And who picks them up? It's old Harley Quinn.
It's Grandma Harley.
Yeah, Grandma. Like she disappears. We never see what happens to her in the flashback. And we got to get voiced by Aaron. How do you say her name?
Arlene Sorkin. Arlene Sorkin, the original. R.I.P.
Arlene Sorkin, and R.I.P. man. And because I love they bring her back as Grandma Harley, which apparently also was cut out of the censored version for some reason.
Wait, that was cut out?
Yeah,
that might have just been cut out.
Yeah, for some reason, which is that's the payoff. You know,
I
like that's literally the payoff of why of it. Like, when I saw that, it's like, oh, there's heart. Like it just kind of like that ties up the story for me when I saw that bit.
it's the weirdest choice to cut that because like it's the weirdest choice to cut that. It doesn't make any sense because you're right as far as like a perfect little exclamation point to everything. How else does a Joker gang continue if the Joker is dead? You know what I mean? Like it's got to
Yeah.
be the person who was obsessed with him throughout planting the seed across, right? And yeah,
Yeah.
Joker had like he had his acolytes and his people that would fucking go out and do his sort of lackeys that would spread the word or whatever. But it's got to be her as the major sort of apostle. Yeah.
You need the Harley around. Amazing. All right, so Ben, possibly first time watching this movie. What are your final thoughts? What are you going to give it?
A definite success. A definite success.
Success.
Yeah. Not having seen much of the series at all, not really being familiar with Batman Beyond in general, like I would say this is a tremendous jumping off point. I would say if you don't see much of anything else, it does get me more interested in the rest of the series. All of that. Yeah. Loved it.
Success.
Derek, what about you?
Absolutely, it's a success.
Success.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The voice cast, that I'm a big fan of the Batman Beyond cartoon, and this was a great way to bring in like the animated series more into the into the
lore,
Batman Beyond universe. That is fantastic in its own right. I thought Bruce Timm does great work. So
yeah, Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, those guys are the best. They get it. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give it
success.
Because I love this fucking movie, man. I watched it 100 times as a kid. Watched it all the time. I wanted to watch Batman Beyond for this episode, but I was like, I need something shorter, and there was like, this movie's perfect. I wish it didn't. I wish it got more love when it came out, and they could have made more of these kind of movies. But, it sucks that times the way they go and how productions go down sometimes. But I'm glad we got it. I'm glad it's still awesome. I'm glad the unrated cut is out. That like they Snyder cutted this way before that was a thing, which is amazing. I'm glad that's the official version they put out too. Like they don't keep trying to sell you that censored version. Like all the versions that exist now are the original uncut, better version.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I love what this movie does for Terry McGinnis. It doesn't feel like a side Batman movie. It's not like, oh, we're bringing back old Batman. It's like, no, this is his movie and what he means and how he has become Batman. That's why I love it. And I said, there's also themes, like I said, in this movie about just child abuse and child trafficking, child like grooming, all through
trauma,
repressed trauma. Yeah, repressed trauma. There's a lot of deep things in this movie that I think is really great. And probably why Warner Brothers didn't want to put it out for kids, but I think it's super powerful and awesome.
Yeah. It's a tremendous story, absolutely start to finish. And it weirdly, if this is 24 years old, older, 25, 26 years old, if it was made 98, 99, as it's, it came out in 2000, 2001, but if it was made then, I would challenge that the story is just as, if not more relevant today than it was then. Yeah.
Everyone should go watch it now. It
definitely holds up. I mean, it stands up.
And also give a shout out to the Static X who has that music video, which is also awesome.
Oh, which, by the way, I have something else I'm going to send you offline too. You were questioning how Static X at one point, you were like in the chat, you were like, they're still around. How can they tour without? Found some very interesting video for you.
Ooh, all right.
The new lead singer, he's called Zero, and he wears this like weird masky. and he's got this like electric kind of Wayne Static hair, but it's like a full blown like mask that he wears now. It's crazy.
It's dope.
You'll love
It's
it.
dope. It's
Yeah.
And also give a shout out to this YouTube channel because this is where I found that about the censorship of this video. At the YouTube channel called the Watchtower Database, they do a bunch of like DC cartoon. Like, it's usually all about all these Bruce Timm stuff, and they have like tons and tons of videos on here. And I watch them not regularly, but I watch when I can. And this one about it says the untold story of why they bleeped Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. So, it's a pretty good video. So, shout out to that channel. But yeah, I guess that's it, man. So
that's it for this one.
Yeah, hopefully this chat's been popping off. Sorry that we can't read the chats, but I'm sure Dwayne and Reeves and some other random people are saying stuff not relevant to the show on the chat.
I love it. But at that point then, James, if this is where we are, what indeed are we watching next week?
Well, since Liz hasn't been on for various reasons, I was like, all right, Liz, you picked the week we're gonna watch next week. So we need you back on here. And she picked a show called Wicked City, which I have no idea what that show is, to be honest. But I'm excited to watch it. It says it's on Tubi.
I know I've seen this. Or at least heard of it. Hang on. Oh, very nice. Okay. It's a 1987 movie. And James, you're going to love it because guess what? Guess what?
It's anime.
It is. This will be a return to completely cartoony next week. Very excited.
That's hilarious. Yeah, and you know what? I guess I'm more open to it these days than I was, 3 years ago. But whatever.
I love it. I love it. All right.
All right. See you next week on Completely Cartoony, folks.
Later, guys.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big, fat, stupid...